Hello, today is the end of week number 2. So today is day 14. And I want to thank everybody who's been following along with this. Hopefully it's been educational, inspiring maybe, because I've had quite a few people ask me about doing it themselves. So where are we today? Well, what's really interesting is the weight has continued to go down. I lost 5 pounds the first week, 4 pounds the second week. But the interesting thing about the weight is normally on a day-to-day basis, and I've got about 7 or 8 years of data, almost daily weigh-ins. But during the week, my weight normally fluctuates somewhere between 5 and 6, 7 pounds. The first week, it still had that little fluctuation, but it just continuously went downward. The last week, my weight coming in and my weight at the end of the week is very steady. It was a decrease down 4 additional pounds, but with no fluctuation. What I mean by that is if Monday was 204, then it was 203.5, then 203. I didn't have any up and downs last week, which I kind of find that interesting. We'll see what happens next week. Started back at the gym today. Shoulder felt fine. So hopefully, if I just do this correctly, meaning that I identified the problem, I stayed off of it, didn't go to the gym. If this week I continue to work out, however, I just do 50% of my 1 rep max on the shoulder, then I think by next week, then I can start back into my strength training program full on. Let's see. We're going to put together kind of a checklist of some things. What are like our top 5 or top 10 steps to success that we've identified along the way. Tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to look at what are symptoms of, for instance, like gluten flaring, or if you are somewhat allergic to, I don't want to say allergic, that's the wrong term, sensitive to. So if you're sensitive to gluten, what are some of the things when we add gluten back into our diet that we should recognize? When it comes to sugar, when it comes to salts, and other things, nuts, also milk. So if you're lactose intolerant, what are some of the symptoms? So we're going to put together kind of a checklist for ourselves of, I think we're going to talk about gluten, we're going to talk about milk, so dairy, caffeine, and sodium. And then each day this week, at the end of the day, we're just going to give ourselves a grade. Did I have stomach aches? Did I whatever? So then next week, when we start adding items back in, and we add I don't know, milk, and stomach hurts and you're gassy or something like that, that at least then we can identify that, oh, in fact, that is it. So what our plan is next Sunday will be our last day. And then starting on Monday, we will start reintroducing some of the foods back into our diets, like coffee and, for me, a latte, dairy, gluten, and type of stuff, and just see how that goes. And we'll probably go do that for about 7 days. Dan and I have had a lot of discussions about, is this kind of a lifestyle change for us instead of just a detox? And we both think that, we're going to do that. We've been eating nothing but organic food. I know that's expensive, but we've been doing all organic. We've been doing no GMOs. And I think we're going to continue that because honestly, the meals, like lunch today, we had lamb and we had rosemary drop biscuits that she made out of mesquite flour and a couple other different flours. None of them had gluten, and they were actually really good. And the lamb was fantastic. So I think that we're going to kind of do that. We're talking about doing kind of a modified paleo after this for 21 days, 30 days to see how that goes. The reason why we say modify is because paleo, you have no type of grains, and I don't necessarily think we want to do that because we do eat oatmeal and that type of thing. So we're gonna test that out. Other than that, my blood pressure. So my blood pressure has continuously gone down. Like I said earlier on, it's normally 150 over 80, and now it's each day it's actually dropping down more. So today it was in the 120s over 70s. So it's actually in the normal range. The one it was I think 127 over 76. So the 127 is still high. If you stick to the you're supposed to be below 120 and below 80. My systolic is still just a little yeah, it's still just a little high. And so is my diastolic if I really want to get down to like 120 over under 120 and somewhere between 70 and 75. So, and then my arterial pressure has actually continuously gone down. It's now the mean arterial pressure is I think right around 85, and considering it normally was around 105, so that's a good change too. So we will see what we think. Was it sodium? Start adding stuff in, and we'll see where it goes. The one thing that's been great is that I did have a lot of data as baseline data, and so it's pretty easy for us to compare apples to apples. Speaking of apples, we've eaten a lot of those. The amount of fruit that my snacks had become, instead of reaching for chips, well, we really didn't eat chips, but reaching for like crackers and so forth, now it's an apple. And I'm actually really enjoying it. Other than that, I think that's about the big points. Once again, if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them down below, and we will add them into the videos. And again, thanks a lot for those who've been supportive and watching this and asking questions. It's been a very interesting experience, and I think I'd recommend it to others, especially if you follow our checklist of the things that'll make you successful. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you all later.